photography at 28 now, Papa Sierra, 5 miles east, inbound for landing 10. We'll be looking for traffic, West Point.
What did that traffic just say?
It's about 5 miles out to the east, coming to land.
Which runway?
10.
Okay.
And he'll be looking for traffic. He might be closer than what I think. Alright, brakes set, flight control. Free and clear. Elevator trim. Set the takeoff. Flight instruments. And that's all shit good. Fuel shut-off valve. Mixture rich. Throttle. Check the magneto. One to the left. Start that up, right? One to the left. Back to the right. 2 to the left. 100. Back to the right. Got the suction. RP. That's good. And I get out the idle. Alright, heading indicator, that is
Hey, West Point traffic, photography 28 now, Papa Sierra, left downwind for 10, at traffic in sight, West Point.
full rich. Flaps trim, those are good. Pre-takeoff brief, we're departing from runway 10. If we're on the runway and we have engine failure, we'll reduce the throttle to idle, apply braking, we'll pull off. If we get airborne and we have usable remainder of the runway, we'll adjust our pitch, maintain our airspeed, reduce the throttle to idle.
Traffic at West Point will be extended by downwind.
No, we're not ready yet.
Roger that.
Thank you, though.
Reduce the throttle to idle, apply braking, and land, and pull off. If we're airborne and we have no usable remainder of the runway and we're below 720 feet, we're either laying straight ahead or off to the left or right. Preferably a field or swamp, road.
Alright, very good.
If we don't have, we're above 720, we'll circle around. Use taxiway, runway, field, whatever. Whatever may be necessary.
Yep.
Alright, that one. Doors, windows. Ready to rock and roll, huh?
Alright, so there was traffic on downwind. He's probably going to be base final here in a second. So we'll wait until we see him.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah, West Point traffic, Papa Sierra, final 10, full stop, West Point.
That's a Citabria. You can go upside down, do aerobatics and that.
That thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, Citabria is aerobatics spelled backward.
No crap.
Yeah.
That's cool though. Is it hard to land with a tail wheel?
It's just different. So with the taxiway closed, I'm not sure what he's gonna do. He might come back. He might come back this way, or he might pull off and wait. I think he's gonna wait for us to take off. All right, so let's go ahead and go.
Yeah, West Point traffic, Papa Sierra, back taxi and 10
Nope.
West Point.
I guess he's not gonna let us go. Alright, so when he gets a little bit closer, what we'll do is we'll taxi and we'll just come to the end. And that way he can come in.
So,
Alright, West Point traffic, Cessna 16 form, we'll taxi into position and hold on the runway and let the Stabry come in to the taxiway, West Point.
Yeah, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Yeah, just go to the end of the runway down here. Go all the way into that. And now you can do your departing runway 10 call.
Hey, West Point traffic, Papa Sierra, clear the active West Point.
West Point traffic, that's a 16 uniform, departing runway 10, standard traffic pattern.
This is quite a bit different weather from the other day, huh?
Oh yeah, getting tossed around like a bobber. So I looked on the TFR and they say got flight restrictions Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Is that the air show?
Yep.
Oh sweet, they're still doing it. I'm going. Been want to go for that thing for years, man.
Wilson Industrial Traffic 11, 153 Lima Golf. We're 10 miles to the north. Might enter a 45-degree left downwind for runway 3. Wilson. Canada traffic now at 7575 Golf is 10 miles. And I'm at 4500. During a midfield down or across.
It's crazy how much smoother it is with no wind.
Alright, we are way too far from the runway. Let's work our way back over there. I'm actually kind of cold.
Might be way too high. This is downwind?
Yeah.
West Point traffic, that's a 16 uniform, downwind, to runway 10, passenger.
Alright, don't overcorrect. Let's turn back parallel to it.
Tango traffic, Skyhawk 155 Golf. Correction, we're 8 miles to the north of runway 23, and we're going to set up for a runway 23 landing, full stop, Tango traffic.
10 degrees left. Degree.
Can you tell me?
Yeah.
Now does that look right, or do we look low or high? Or? Okay. So bring the power back a little bit more, square off your turn. Well, you can turn now, but you would prefer to square it off than turning too early. Okay, you're at 50 knots. We're way too slow. You have the nose too high. What do we want our airspeed to be on final?
60.
60. Pitch is the fastest way to adjust your airspeed if your descent angle is correct. So that looks about right there. Just keep that picture that you have, adjusting pitch and power as you need to maintain that picture and maintain that 60 knots. Look at the far end, smoothly level off, skim the runway about 1 foot above the runway, and then hold it off as long as you can. Hold it off. Alright, that was not holding it off, so we still have a lot of lift left. So we landed, and now we're flying again with the power at idle. Go ahead and add a little bit of power. No, never mind, we're on the ground now. Alright, power, sorry, car repeat off. Flaps up, full power. West Point traffic, Cessna 16 form on the go, left close traffic, runway 10 West Point. Every now and then while you're flying, just look down here at the engine gauges, make sure they're still in the green, make sure you still have fuel in the fuel gauges, and you can check your amp meter too, make sure it's alright.
Alright.
Lower your nose too to level off, or we'll keep climbing.
This is crazy. It's only a little bit. West Point traffic, Cessna 62 uniform, downwind, runway 10, touch and go.
Be careful you don't get too close to it. So look out here and pick a landmark that's in a straight line that's parallel to the runway, like that, either that water tower or maybe that bridge. Because we're getting closer and closer, we're going to be too close if we keep doing that.
Good. Use the power. Degrees.
Smells smoky.
Okay.
Okay, so 70 knots on the extended downwind, about 65 on base, and 60 on final. Those are good targets to aim for airspeed wise. Slowing down again, get the nose down, get the nose down. So we're high and slow, so we can fix both of those problems at the same time just by lowering the nose, and then if we are still high and we start to pick up speed, then we can make a power adjustment as well. So let's start to bring the power out because we're still on the high side. So remember at touchdown, we basically, we're trying to do in the flare a power off stall. We want to touch down with the nose high, at the slowest possible speed, almost at a stall. So once you have that airplane about a foot above the runway, you have to keep pulling back more and more and more as the airplane sinks, and the nose will almost touch the far end of the runway as we touch down, visually speaking. Carry it off laps at full power. West Point traffic, Cessna 16-4, on to go, left coast traffic, runway 10, West Point.
You gotta get the feel for that. It's getting it done.
It's a sight thing, so you have to use those visual cues. And some people can say they can feel it too, they can feel the airplane sinking. I can't really feel it unless it's dramatic.
Yeah.
But you have to use those visual cues to see when you start to sink, and you need to counteract that with back pressure. So once you're doing the first part of the flare well, we're smoothing out, we're leveling off the descent, we're about the right altitude. So that's fine. You just need to keep it going. Watch for that sink, add back pressure, wait until it sinks more, add more back pressure until we touch down.
Yeah, I tend to get to pull a little bit too much. When you think about it, you think you gotta pull back hard, but you really don't. You know, it's just a little bit.
Fourier traffic, Cherokee 8432 Charlie is now going to descend to 2000, and we're still west of the field now.
I'm a little cold. Do you mind if I shut this off?
Yeah. We're looking for you. We just came across the highway.
Can we shut it?
No, that's good where it is. Unless you're cold too, then you can shut it. Now there's not much wind. Assuming this is set right, you should be able to turn to 280, and with 100 on the bottom, and that should take us parallel to the runway.
Okay.
That's part of the reason why we've been slightly high on base leg and final. It's because we're just a little bit too close to the runway.
Okay.
West Point traffic, EMO 64. Army helicopter inbound on the localizer 10, approach from Lispy.
How many miles are you?
At Lispy intersection, it's about 10 miles.
I'll do the radio, you fly the airplane.
Okay.
West Point traffic, Cessna 6 uniform, left downwind, I mean the numbers, runway 10, touch and go, West Point. West Point traffic, Cessna 6 uniform, left base 10, touch and go, West Point.
Euphoria traffic, light sport 491 Bravo Lima, 10 miles north of the field, inbound for landing, runway 16.
Fire your body right on that center line. A little bit more back pressure. Okay, go ahead, go.
That a little bit better?
A little bit better, yeah.
Keep practicing, man.
Keep practicing.
We're gonna get it.
West Point traffic, Cessna 6 uniform on the go, left close traffic, runway 10, West Point.
Standard traffic in your 87 Quebec is 15 miles to the northwest, 6,500 maneuvering Canada.
So we had a
Trevor Mooney's 7 miles to the north.
we had a helicopter on a 10 mile practice approach for runway 10. So he's going to be doing a long straight in. So we'll look for him here once we turn downwind and make sure we don't cut him off.
I seen one do that yesterday. A little double propeller, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind. I think he said Army helicopter.
Yeah. Might not be the same one, but might be.
Euphoria traffic, KT 432 Charlie, flying over midfield. We're going to join downwind for 16, and we're at 2,000.
I don't see him.
Hey Mary, 66 Uniform Tango, left turn out 11.
I don't see him either.
Might still be out.
Tom, we are midfield, downwind for 10.
West Point traffic, Cessna 60 uniform downwind, runway 10, touch and go.
Army helicopter at West Point. What's your current distance from the runway?
4.25 miles, and we're going to bring it off early and into Arkham.
Alright, simulate engine failure, let's do a power off approach. West Point traffic, Cessna 16-4, tight left base, runway 10, West Point, touch and go. Oh, I see him now. He's a pretty good distance out there.
Traffic Naval 6-4, Army helicopter 3 miles to the west, and we'll be breaking off direct to Harcum, mid-river.
You're over-controlling a little bit. You don't want to go nose down during the flare if you start gaining altitude. You basically only want to apply back pressure, or if you start to gain altitude, you can release a little bit of it and curve it off full throttle. West Point traffic, Cessna 16 form on the go left post traffic, runway 10 West Point. If you move the elevator forward during the flare, really bad things will happen quickly.
That one was kind of like that one.
Yeah, and what happened was we came in fast, so that was part of the problem. So what you could have done...
491 Bravo Lima, long final 3 miles, Emporia.
You want to control your airspeed. Any large deviation
Point
from
traffic
airspeed.
Naval 6-4 is turning right, heading to Harcum VOR for holding West Point.
Control your airspeed with pitch, and then if you're high or low, you can do things to lose altitude, like adding flaps or slipping. Of course, the power was at idle already, so you can reduce the power any more than it already was. So coming in fast will make that more difficult. When you go to flare, you might gain some altitude. If you do, just relax a tiny bit of that back pressure until we stop that ballooning and stop that altitude gain.
Okay. Now should I, in that case, I don't want to say I'm going too fast, because I don't know until I get to the runway, but...
Where are you on your final?
Talking to us. What is he talking about?
He said something about Emporia.
Oh, I see him.
So he said he's going to go to Harcum. Harcum is a VOR, which is a navigation beacon down that way, about 5 miles down the river.
Okay.
Emporia traffic. 491 Bravo Lima, short final, runway 16, Emporia.
West Point traffic, Cessna 16 uniform, downwind runway 10, touchdown.
This is off a little bit. So the runway heading going this way is 280, so we're going to end up right on top of the runway if you keep going that way. So notice where the airplane's pointing, kind of at the end of the bridge there, where it crosses back over the land.
the airspace to the west.
You're about 10 knots too slow. You want to be really careful about not pulling back during that turn, because then the turn's increasing your stall speed and you're pulling back at the same time. It's not a good combination.
Do that, you'll drop, right?
Alright, look at the front of the runway. See it sinking right now? Counteract that. Don't let it sink. Don't let it sink. Well, I didn't help you on that one. Alright, let's go.
Progress.
Keep it on the center line though.
West Point traffic, Anvil 6-4, Army helicopter holding at Harcum 1,700 feet for West Point.
Did you say Naval 6-4 Army helicopter? That doesn't make sense.
Stuff like that.
The most common cause for that issue that we're having where we're touching down kind of flat and kind of on three wheels at the same time is looking too close.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking a little close that time. He's holding somewhere at 1,700.
Yeah, if you don't look all the way to the far end of the runway, you won't see that, because that sinking is very subtle. It's not obvious. You have to have your eyes looking at the right place to see it, and you have to be looking as far away as you can. If you look close, by the time you see it, it'll be too late, and you'll touch down hard. That doesn't mean stare at the far end of the runway.
Yeah.
But that's going to be where probably 75 to 80% of your attention's going to be, with a couple just quick glances downward at the runway just to make sure you're not too high.
West Point traffic, this is 62 uniform. Downwind of runway 10. Touch and go.
Okay, so once you roll out of the turn, look at the runway and ask yourself, how's the runway look? Do we look high or low or about right?
High.
Maybe just a tiny bit. I don't think we look that high.
No.
Look all the way to the end, all the way almost to the trees. Keep it coming back. You want that touchdown, you want it to kind of look like that, alright? With the top of the nose almost covering the end of the runway. Alright, let's go.
Alright.
West Point traffic, Cessna 6 uniform on the go, left post traffic, runway 10 West Point.
West Point traffic, that's a 6-2 uniform. Downwind to runway 10, set to go.
Alright, if you have time, I'd like you to start making a radio announcement on the base leg too.
Okay. Okay, base to final.
You can either say turning base, you can roll out on base and say left base 10, or you can turn final and say base to final 10. And then if you have time to do a final call too on final approach, you can do that one too.
West Point traffic, that's a 6-2 uniform, turning base to final, runway 10.
Turning base.
Turning base.
Yeah. The next turn would be base to final. And let's see if we have time. Let's see if we can get our 30 degrees flaps in on final too, because we've been landing with 20 instead of 30, which isn't a big deal, but a normal landing is going to be with 30 degrees flaps.
Okay. Degrees?
Yep. And then you'll need one more trim adjustment here before we land. Airspeed looks good. Oh, look at that. There's deer on the runway. Let's go around.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright,
throttle first.
Throttle first.
Left. Heartbeat.
Heartbeat.
Flapped up to 20 right away. And then pause them at 20, retrim the airplane if you have to, get it kind of stabilized, and then go up to 10. And then all the way up.
Where was he at?
It's a simulated
I
deer.
got you.
Imaginary.
Cool.
Alright, establish a normal climb speed, not 85. Westbound traffic, Cessna 6 uniform, going around, runway 10, left post traffic, West Point. I really have had deer come over the runway though while I was landing, and until you get just over the threshold, they kind of look like ants until you get really close to the runway.
I hate deer. West Point traffic, Cessna 62 uniform, downwind of runway 10. Degrees. Want to do 30 on this one?
That's up to you. If we end up slightly low on final, we won't use 30. If we end up slightly high, we'll use 30. It's alright.
West Point traffic, Cessna 62 uniform.
See how we were kind of low, so if that happens, you can compensate for that by starting your turn a little bit earlier and making a more shallow turn. That way you decrease the distance that you have to fly to get to the runway.
Cessna 62 uniform.
Final.
Turn to final to runway 10. Frankfurt.
Alright, let's do a couple more. West Point traffic, Cessna 6 uniform on the go, left close traffic, runway 10 West Point. Alright, you almost had it, but you let go of it, and we went nose down there at the last second. So that's why I pulled back some. Patience.
Point traffic, Anvil 6-4, Army helicopter inbound on the VOR Alpha approach for West Point traffic.
That's him over there. He's just hovering over there.
Yeah. We'll watch out for him.
West Point traffic, that's a 6-2 uniform, downwind of runway 10.
Okay, so let's try a normal power on approach, but without the flaps.
Alright,
So your airspeed will just be slightly high, same power settings, so you can bring your power back. We'll just not use any flaps, and the airspeeds will be slightly higher, about 5 knots faster on final, so 65 instead of 60 on final.
Okay.
The whole approach, the nose will be slightly higher because the sight picture is different without flaps. West Point traffic, Cessna 6 uniform, turning final, runway 10. We have the helicopter in sight, West Point. Alright, so we're 10 knots fast, so start to bring that power back. And if... Yeah, that looks pretty good, sight picture wise. Bring that power back. Don't the nose down so much.
West Point traffic, Anvil 6-4, Army helicopter. We're going to enter a right downwind, landing runway 10 for West Point traffic.
Alright, we're about to go off the edge of the runway here. Alright, let's go. We'll try one more. West Point traffic, Cessna 6 uniform, 1 to go, left coast traffic, runway 10, West Point.
Traffic, Anvil 6-4, turning right base, landing runway 10, West Point traffic.
Alright, this approach, it'll be up to you. You can do it normal.
Traffic, Anvil 6-4 is turning final, landing runway 10, West Point.
You can do it normal, you can do it without flaps, you can do it without power, whatever combination you want.
Alright.
Actually, we better do it at normal power on approach with flaps because I don't know how long the helicopter is going to be hovering over the runway. Unless he's out of here by the time we get to the beam.
West Point traffic, that's a 6-2 uniform, downwind to runway 10. Should I tell him I see him?
So that's alright.
10 degrees.
West Point traffic, Anvil 64, be taking off runway 10, right close traffic for West Point.
I think all left base runway 10.
Traffic, Diamond 1 Delta 2, approximately 3 miles to the northwest, approaching for landing. Landing will land on.
Or not, someone else was talking.
West Point traffic, Cessna 60 uniform, 10 and base to final runway 10.
Okay, so how does this approach look?
Little,
Yeah, and those two red lights by the beside the runway on the left side, those are also telling you you're low as well.
really?
Yep.
I did not know that. Thank you for telling me that.
That's what I'm here for.
That's a good judgment. I like that. Is that a computer?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Get that power all the way to idle, or we're gonna make the landing more difficult. Alright, so the taxiway is closed, so we'll have to stop and turn around.
West Point traffic, Anvil 64 is turning right downwind for landing runway 10, West Point.
West Point traffic, Cessna 6 uniform back taxiing down 10 to exit the runway, West Point.
Was that last one a little rough? Yeah. Just trying to hold it off. West Point traffic, Cessna 62 uniform, clear runway 10.
Yeah, we
West Point traffic, Anvil 64, right base landing runway 10, West Point.
do the after landing checklist.
Alright. Clear, carburetor heat, flaps restricted. Let's turn that one off. Elevator tram.
West Point traffic, Anvil 64 is turning final landing runway 10, West Point.
Right there. Alright.
Yeah, we started sinking kind of like a rock. You just didn't catch it. You didn't react to it. And you're still doing a little bit of this during the flare.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to push forward, you know. Like you said, be patient. I was trying to
You
let
need
it come down.
Yeah, you need to just smooth out those control movements a little bit. So put in a little bit of pressure. Wait for the airplane to react. Put in a little bit more if you need to, or relax it a little bit if you need to. Just make them a little bit smaller and adjust them more frequently. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I got a little tendency to pull back and then it'll go back up. I'm trying not to.
Yeah, we
go
did that.
forward, you
Yeah, yeah, that did happen, and you caught it. But then, as we continued down the runway, then we developed a higher sink rate, and you didn't react to it. So your eyes are probably still not in the right place, or you don't know what to look. Did you see us sinking into the ground on the last one at the last second there?
Yeah, and then it just.
Yeah, we kind of went like that. That'll happen if you flare high and you lose a lot of airspeed and you're still kind of high above the runway. You can develop a high sink rate And if that starts to happen, and you've already flared and you've already gotten the nose up and you're still sinking high, then the only way to fix that is with power, because if you just keep trying to pull back, you'll just stall the airplane and then you'll really sink into the ground even worse. So if you've already flared and you've already gotten the nose up and you're still sinking, then add power, or go around if it looks like you're gonna hit hard and possibly damage something or injure yourself. Yeah, right and left. But that's part of the learning process. All students experience that a few times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Black Hawk. Look at that. Loaded with missiles.
West Point Unicom, Anvil 6-4.
Good man. Big gang. We just turn everything else up. Nope, let's leave that on. Make sure I have the cutoff.
Yep.
So those red lights down there, if you're low, is it a computer that shines, or is it just like color coded when you're high?
It's perspective. So there's a light projector in there, and it's divided in two with a red half and a white half. And just the angle that you're looking at it, you'll either see the red part or the white part. And they're angled differently, so that if you're real high, you'll see two white lights, and if you're real low, you'll see two red lights, and if you're about right, you'll see a white and a red.